Is everyone ready? Could you type in the chat and I will get going. Excellent. Okay, let's go. I think we are recording. Excellent. So it's 1 minute past, so I think it's about time. So let's get started. So welcome to Stop Selling Time, free training session focused around how to build a following and to sell your expertise at scale. So essentially what I've been doing for the last 7 months, started my following and learned a lot of things. So let's go through this. So what we'll cover, I'll tell you a little bit about how I got to this point, how you should stop selling your time and start building a following, and how to build a following and sell your expertise at scale. So my story, and probably all know me, but just in case, I've been in the digital marketing realm for 18 years, believe it or not. I've been a freelancer, I've worked at agencies, and I ran my own agency. And in March 2017, I finally put myself out there, so to speak, when I started my Facebook group, Charm Offensive. So all this time, I've just been working with private clients, I had my own agency, but I've never done this sort of, had a following. It's still weird to say that I've got a following. And that's something I started on a whim in March 2017. And in April, I started my email list, launched my first product in April, launched my first course in August. And now we have, I've got a message, 1 sec. I'm going to see if I'm going to, hello, Matt. Hello, Matt. Right. I'm going to ask any questions as I go along. I'll try and respond to them. And I will have a Q&A at the end as well. So, excellent. So I launched my first, I'm going to keep this chat here. I launched my first course in August this year. We now have, actually this is closer to 5,700. We're going to hit 6,000 members this month easily. And we're growing every day. And that also means that my email list grows every day. Because every time someone joins my group, they're asked if they would like a magic email cheat sheet in exchange for their email address. And most people go for it. So every day my email list grows as well. And now digital product sales now make up the majority of my income. I actually remember earlier this year when the ratio was about 30% digital products to 70% private clients. And now it's 95, 90, maybe more than that percent digital product sales, 5% private clients. So it's a complete switch around. And that is what I wanted. So let me talk a little bit about the benefits to building a following, why you should do this. So there are a few different benefits: positioning, scalable selling, inbound lead generation, opportunities come to you, you get positive PR coverage from it, you get back your time, far less stress doing business in this way. You get the benefit of network effect as you've got a following that you can leverage, and you have time to pursue creative endeavors if that is something that interests you. So let me go through these one by one. You become a go-to expert after a while, especially if you've got a particular skill that is unique or a different way of doing things. I've got loads of these screenshots where it's just mentions of me or mentions of Charm Offensive. When anyone asks about cold email or humor in business or lately Facebook marketing, there's loads of mentions of me and Charm Offensive, and that would not have happened if it hadn't have been for me starting my group. No one would be mentioning me. So the more you put yourself out there, the more you're mentioned and the more your group is mentioned, and it positions you as that authoritative expert. Probably the benefit that most of you are interested in, scalable selling. So it's really fun getting these emails at all hours of the day and night. Nice waking up and seeing you've had payments like this, when you're sleeping. I know that's kind of a cliche, but it is nice. It does actually happen, and it is very nice. And you're able to get to this position too. There's inbound lead generation. So if you do still want to sell your time, although obviously the title of this webinar is Stop Selling Your Time, you have leads come to you. Okay. Can anyone hear okay? Will's just saying that it's okay. Helen can hear fine. Sounds great. Okay, well, it might be yourself there. I will get you a replay to this. Thanks, guys. So yeah, you do get leads come to you. So by building a following, you have leads come to you as well. And this is really cool because these people are pre-sold. They really want to work with you. There's none of that kind of you've got to prove yourself stuff. I remember when I first started doing this, I had a call with someone one day, like on a Thursday, that was from the group, and it was just so easy. We just did a deal instantly. And then the next day I did a deal. I was doing a meeting rather with someone I'd cold pitched to, got a meeting with them. And there was all of that kind of, you've got to prove yourself stuff and all of that, And I was just like, no, I don't. I don't have to do any of that. I got loads of people that want to work with me that are pre-sold. So you should start building a following, even if you don't want to build digital products, because you're going to have leads come to you, like the example here. So, and also as well as leads, opportunities come to you. So my first course, Always Be Winning, there's a section on cold pitching yourself onto podcasts and speaking gigs and all of that kind of stuff. And when you build a following, those opportunities come to you. So I was asked to speak at this event. I was asked to go on this podcast, and I get these all the time. So yes, you can cold pitch yourself onto stuff, and that's still a great thing to do. And it's something you'll have to do to build a following. But when you build a following and you get to a certain stage, the opportunities come your way. And that's really cool because you're not using any resources whatsoever to get this additional exposure. And you get positive PR coverage. So people will contact you wanting to interview you, wanting to write stories about you. And again, this is just all free advertising. I haven't had to pay for any of this. And I've got all of these mentions. And all of this means more members, more people knowing who I am, more business coming my way. And it's not labor intensive. It's people coming to me. So it's really, really like a complete turnaround. And for me, other than the money, this is the most important one. Like you get back your time. So if you'd have compared this calendar entry to last year, it would have been just jam-packed with other people's, phone calls I've got to do, meetings I've got to do, all that kind of stuff. Now it's completely empty. Obviously, I'm going to fill this up with tasks I've got to do. This is next week's, but it's going to be I'm going to be setting the agenda. I'm not spending time doing calls and meetings and stuff that I don't have to. My diary's filled with stuff I want to do. I set the agenda, and it's incredibly kind of liberating. I can't explain. It didn't hit me until one day I realized, like, oh my God, how much free time I've got now. And to me, obviously the money is good and enjoying what you're doing is good, but this is probably one of the most enjoyable benefits is that you get back your time. You set the agenda. Less stress. So it doesn't happen often, but if a customer is unhappy or they don't have time to do a program or they've changed their mind or whatever it might be, I just click refund and we're both happy. And often those people still go on to buy other products. And compare that to the massive email chains of dealing with clients where you've got to tick every box to get your invoice paid, and then you're waiting 30, 60, 90 days. Instead, you're getting paid up front for something you've already created or you're creating, the process of creating. As I say, less pointless calls and meetings, and you don't have to deal with nightmare clients. It gives you options. And that's one of the best things. It gives you options. Network effect. So you have the benefit of having a network. This is probably not the best screenshot to show here. Another example of people mentioning you, but if I want to say get some engagement on a LinkedIn post, or I want to launch a podcast or something else, because I've already got a following, I've got like a shortcut. I've got a head start. Excellent. Yeah, nightmare clients be gone. Just saying my last line. Excellent, Helen. That's got to feel good. Creative pursuits. So this one may not be relevant to all of you, but I finally started a satiric. This isn't I didn't put this in just to sort of promote it, by the way, but I've started a satirical news site called The Influential, and I've got time to do that now because of my diary looking how it is. If we scroll back there, I do have time to do these creative pursuits. and I enjoy writing, comedy writing, and I enjoy satire writing, I now have time to do that kind of stuff. And because I've already got a following, it's already got a small audience, and I can continually cross-promote it. So those benefits, I'm probably thinking that this one is the one that everyone's interested in the most, but you shouldn't discount all of the other benefits. Like, this all adds up to a really nice lifestyle. So let's look through the key elements to growing your following quickly. I've been able to reverse engineer what it was about mine that has grown organically so quickly. Like, I've not used paid ads really at all. Maybe a few $100s maximum, and that's really to build my email list, not to build my group. So I was able to look at why I've grown organically so quickly, especially on such a niche topic, which, mine was really, when I started, about cold email and about being funny and creative. That's not a broad topic like some groups which, are just about business in general. Mine was a niche topic, yet it's still grown really quickly without having to spend money on ads. So I'll talk about some of the elements that made that possible. So we're going to run through pre-marketing your tribe theme. And by the way, the word tribe, I don't particularly like any of these terms either, but they're the best ones that we've got, so I have to use them. So pre-marketing your tribe theme, creating a compelling hook, curiosity and value combination, creating key posts for your new members, curation and association, giving value, creating a community feel, helping people succeed, and putting yourself out there. So I'm going to run through each of these. These are all key points as to why my group did so well and so quickly. So pre-marketing your group theme. This is from October 15th last year. I started to think maybe people would be interested in my weird approach to new business, because it had led to meetings, obviously, with all of these big brands, and I knew it was completely different to what everyone else was doing. So I made a post on traffic and copy. So I know Charlie Price quite well. And I posted my screenshots. I posted this introductory message, and I posted a little sort of table of contents for what would become the ebook Win with Words. And I got a really great reception. I posted some more stuff on there. And I basically gave out the draft to my ebook, Win with Words, for free, and got great feedback. And people started to do really well just with this free ebook I'd created. People started to get great results. So I was able to sort of pre-market the general theme of my group using another group, and that's granted because I knew Charlie and they were he was sort of cool with it. But this is a good way of figuring out if the theme for your group, if there's something there, you can use other groups to kind of figure out, have I got something here that's going to resonate. This was fun, by the way, looking back at these posts before I had the group. Kind of interesting. So creating a compelling hook. You all know mine, which is the true story of the drunk cold email that changed my life. I was lucky that this actually happened, and I had a cool hook just because it was a true story. This has helped me. If you think about that headline, the drunk cold email that changed my life, it's an interesting story because I was desperate. I got drunk. I wrote that cold email, and I got all of those meetings with all these big brands. It's an interesting story. And I spoke to Kevin Rogers. I went on his podcast, and he explained that I'd used a formula here. Let me see if I can get it right. And I think it's identity. I think it's identity, struggle, discovery, surprise. I think that's it. But there's basically a storytelling formula there in this post that has worked really well. And there are different ways of coming up with hooks and different ways of coming up with a theme for your group that naturally gets people curious, naturally is unique and adds your own flavor to something, and means that when you're, say, emailing podcasts to invite yourself on, you've got an interesting story that lends itself well to just quick organic growth. So I've got my story, but we can come up with something for you that's going to work. We'll think, what is the way that we can position you that's going to lead to expedient growth? And the curiosity and value combination. So one thing I would do is I would post like I did on the Reddit post, which this Reddit post, there was some introduction to me, and then I put sort of 5 posts in one on this. And I did the same when I posted on groups. I gave loads of value, and then I showed my screenshots off. I didn't link to my group. And I did this on Coffee with Dan and Traffic and Copy and some other groups. And I got responses like this. So someone saying, well, son of a bitch, John, now I want to see the damn email you sent. So it engendered that curiosity. So I gave enough information out that it was valuable, but I left just enough out that people were like, what the hell is he sending? And that was really, really beneficial to me when I was first starting out and posting on other groups. So key posts for new members, this is really critical, is when you're starting a new group, you should have, and I didn't have 10 immediate, this amount immediately, but having a set of 10 or 15 posts that you can put in your pinned post and link to or in your description really helps when people find your group, and then they can just go through each of these posts to figure out what the group's about. They can immediately get some value that they can use to help them get clients or find value in some way. So I recommend to people that they have a set of 10 posts, so when people do join, they can run through them and they're kind of hooked in and interested. So give value. I know this is a no-brainer. This is obvious advice, but one of the reasons my group did so well is I'm consistent, especially at the start, and I still try to do it now, is I try and give people value. So here's an example of a post where I analysed the Dollar Shave Club advert, the writing and what they were doing, and explained why it worked. And I try and do this regularly, where just completely for free with no, I'm not expecting anything in return. I just want to help people out. I want to give them good information. And if you do that regularly, that's probably the most important part of it. I know this is obvious advice, but if I didn't put this slide in, people would go, well, where's the bit about the content? So obviously you've got to give value. You've got to have something for people to keep coming back. And on the other side, and some people don't agree with this, but I think there is benefit in curation and association. So for me, there's a set theme for the content in my group. So there's humor, there's persuasion, copywriting, creativity and lateral thinking. So when I post stuff, I don't think I've always got the best answers. Like, I've got a lot of things that I think I can help a lot of people. But if I can find other examples of the type of thinking that I want to show people, such as the Diamond Shreddies, the really hilarious rebranding that they did, or a really creative ad that's kind of funny for Specsavers, that does a few things. One, it helps people think in a way that how I want them to think. People will remember when you introduce them to interesting things. And it also furthers my agenda of that this is what I'm about. I'm associating myself with these creative and impressive and interesting things, and I'm the one to have shown people this. And that also shows people that, oh, this is what John's about. He's about creativity, he's about humor, he's about this. So there is benefit in curation. So you shouldn't link to just about anything. I'm very picky with what I show people. And I curate sort of stuff that I believe is going to help people think, be more creative, be more entertaining, and I'm associated with that forever. And there's another example here. For example, the interview I did with Ben Settle. He has a subscription newsletter, and people would think, well, why are you introducing people to other people that could take business away from you? And that's not really the point. I benefit from, if someone goes and does another course that is good, or they buy some other product that is helpful, they're going to remember that I recommended them. And that's a benefit. And Ben Settle here, he's already a big name. He's been doing stuff since 2011, I think. He's been selling products and stuff. But by having him on and having a good conversation with him, I'm now associated with him. So there's a benefit. When I do these kind of interviews and things, there is a benefit of association and curation and being the person that introduces other people to cool things. So you don't have to create absolutely everything yourself. There is benefit in curation association. And really importantly, create a community feel. So I do member spotlights. I do the pitch days. This is just to make it not all about you. You've got to make it a community. So I will regularly post once a week or once every 2 weeks. I'll do a pitch day where everyone can put their pitch up and all of the members can talk to each other. I'll do member spotlights where people get exposure in exchange for really good information. And this just, makes it more of a community and makes it just not about me all the time. Because when you first start out, it will just be you posting. But after a while, with the type of content you post, other people will start to follow suit. But you do need to make the effort of making it a community. And there are certain types of posts that you can do to make that happen. And another important part is helping people succeed. Again, I may have been somewhat lucky that I did have such an unusual approach that is immediately effective. And again, that's kind of lucky on my part. But I was able to help people, especially when I started out. When anyone messaged me, I would help them. If they were struggling or whatever it might be, I would go out of my way to help them. And then when I got my first customers, I would go above and beyond for them. And again, this sounds like Business 101, but it's absolutely critical when you're first starting a group. So I was literally launching a charm offensive on every new member. And that's really important when you're starting out, because you get posts like this. You help people and you don't. Often I would solicit these. I would ask them, do you mind posting? When someone had got good news, I'd ask them if they mind posting. But after a while, people would just post this anyway. It became the dumb thing for people to post their screenshots of great results or to post, a testimonial. And that engine of social proof is really powerful. A, it feels really good to help people, but B, you do get benefit of people posting stuff like this. And this reciprocity is not a super efficient system. It's like you don't get everything, you don't get an equal amount back to what you put in, but you get enough. You get enough. And over time it adds up. And it's one of the biggest parts of my success is people there's so many nice things about me on the group that people post. It used to be every few days or every week. That means more than me telling people that that my courses are good. When other people post good stuff, that means so much more. So building an engine of reciprocity is important. And if you're not paying for ads, you've got to get your traction somewhere else. So for me, I went on Mr. Ben Settle's media page and I looked at all the podcasts he'd gone on and I emailed them, invited myself on their podcasts, and I got on some decent podcasts, got in front of new audiences, and that led to more people in my group. You can also do the same with speaking gigs and PR coverage, but I had the most success with podcasts, and that was a big part of my growth. And I really enjoyed doing these as well. It's not something you have to do, but again, every one of these tactics, the more you use, the quicker you're going to grow. So let's look at what is the tech, time, and skills you need to make this transition. The transition being from working with private clients to selling digital products and having a following. And you don't have to, by the way, completely make the transition. You can still sell your time and do this at the same time. But let's look at the key elements. So technology in an email marketing platform. So I used to use ConvertKit. Now I use Sendex. Be able to sell online. So Book Like a Boss is a really quick way of being able to set up an online store. To be able to create sales funnels, so opt-in funnels and sales letters and stuff like that. ClickFunnels is what I use, although you can use Throw themes and there are other platforms. Google Docs for drafting content, and Zoom for creating webinars and recording training products. When did you go from CK to SX? I don't know what's CK and what's SX. Sorry, I got a question from Helen there. Oh, ConvertKit. Scheduling. So I like ConvertKit, but you can't schedule, unless I'm mistaken, I don't think you could schedule emails to go out. So when I'm doing a launch, for instance, for my new course, I've been able to go in and schedule all of the emails until Sunday, and I couldn't do that with ConvertKit. And I like to be able to do that. So I'm really liking Sendex, by the way. ConvertKit is great, but yeah, Sendex has just got the advanced features that I want now. So I'll send these slides out so you can be able to get all of this software as and when you need it. Do you need an email list? Not technically, but I believe it to be of crucial importance. The reason being is you own your email list. Zuckerberg can never take that away from you. So theoretically, Facebook could get rid of groups, or they could reduce the reach massively. I don't think they will. Zuckerberg has been pretty big on groups as being the most really important part of the future of Facebook. So they're investing more money, they're giving more tools. So it's unlikely they will, but you own your email list. And also you can do clever things like target Facebook ads to your people on your email list. You can create lookalike audiences. There's loads of cool stuff you can do. But most importantly is you own that email list. It can never be taken away. And that's really important. So the skills. You've got to be able to create content that educates and entertains. You've got to be able to create basic sales funnels. And I don't do technical, I don't do really over the top stuff, by the way, guys. So some of you may probably be better with sales funnels than me already. I see some of the complex stuff that people do. I've not gone anywhere near that. But you do need to be able to create some basic sales funnels where you can do an opt-in and then a sales letter. And if you want to do upsells and stuff like that. Create basic FB ads. Even that at first you don't really need. It's really just useful that you can build your email list pretty quickly and pretty cheaply still. Well, that will change in the future, so the time is right now to do it. But to be able to create basic Facebook ads is a great way of building your list pretty quickly. Develop products that people want. Build exposure for yourself, to put yourself out there. So if you're not using ads, it's about putting yourself on podcasts, about getting other influencers to talk about you, about putting yourself out there, posting on other groups. So you've got to, I don't like to use the term hustle, but it seems relevant. You've got to put yourself out there if you want that organic growth. And to be able to write copy that persuades people to buy. So basic sales letters and email sequences and group posts. And I will tell you guys that I had a benefit that, I enjoy writing, but I didn't do any direct response copywriting until this year. It wasn't something I knew, or, obviously I'd seen sales letters and that kind of stuff before. I'd never done emails to a list. It was always cold. So some of my skills translated, but there is a definite talent that a skill you should obtain in direct response copywriting, and we will go through that as well. Time. So I created my tribe. I created all this when client work was my main revenue. And as soon as you see success, it gets really addictive. You get really obsessive about it. The more time you spend, the quicker you will grow. Obvious advice. You can start with just 30 minutes a day. I moved from one business model to another carefully. I had bills to pay. I couldn't just drop everything and start working on just on my Facebook group and my email list. Now I had private clients. I had to make that transition carefully. But when you do, you'll have more time than ever when you make the transition. And if you still want to, charge for your time, you'd be able to charge more for it. When you have options, it gives you that ability to be able to charge more and say no, which is really cool. I did that anyway, even if I couldn't really afford it. But it's even better when you can afford to do it. So the 5 stages. I've reverse engineered what I've done in the last 7 months. And there are 5 stages, I believe, to building a profitable tribe-based business. So they are launch, engage, grow, sell, and expand. So launch, developing your theme or your hook. And you can answer that. There's a Google Doc I've created that asks lots of questions. And that will help you develop that theme or your hook. Creating your Facebook group and actually getting it launched. Like, my advice to all of you, no matter what you take away from this, is just to start something. Like, you can always change the name and what it's about and everything. Just get started. That's a real big part, is taking imperfect action. Creating your first lead magnet. So for me, it's the magic email cheat sheet, and I'm going to be creating new ones. Creating your first 10 posts. Acquiring your first 100 members, and setting up your email marketing platform. So just getting started, really. Engage. So the next is creating content that gets engagement. You got to put content up that's getting the likes and the reactions and the comments. It can't just be a one-way broadcast. You got to start, once you've got your initial members, start seeing that engagement trickling. Then you got to create a community feel. So things like member spotlights, pitch days, and welcome new members. You've got to create something that people want to engage with, and that's with the content, but also making it not just all about you. And catering to audience's needs while still leading. So you've got to control the general direction, but you should poll your audience and ask, what do they do? What are their biggest pain points? What would they like to see? Would you like to hear more about this? So recently I made a post, would people like a series on behavioral economics? And I got a positive response to it, so now that is a series that we'll do. So that's the great thing about Facebook. You can get good feedback pretty quickly, and you can see if what you're doing is right. And grow. So, as I say, I only used a tiny bit of paid advertising. 99% of my growth is organic. And I used, there's various growth hacking techniques that I do use and use regularly to especially at the start, to get that growth. You can also post ethically. There's a way of posting in the complementary groups without getting in trouble. So I didn't put my group URL unless I'd got permission from the admin. But if you give so much value and you have the element of curiosity there, you will find that people start adding you and messaging you on Facebook anyway. So if you post in another group with something that's useful enough and intriguing enough, you'll get people contact you and seek you in, and then they can find your group. You've got to put yourself out there. So inviting yourself into podcasts is a big thing that I did. Getting PR coverage. If you're not going to do the paid ads, you've got to make sure you've got to get yourself in front of other audiences, and then they will be driven to your community. Build relationships with other influencers. So I've done this with Katya of the Livestream Katya. I've done this with Aaron from SaaS Growth Hacks. I know Colin from Cult of Copy. Obviously Dan from Coffee with Dan. All of these people already have big audiences, and because I've been able to give them value, in return, they will mention me. They will bring me on a Facebook Live interview. They will bring me on a webinar. And it's all about relationship building. All of these people have audiences, and if you can approach them in the right way and you can give value to their audience or give value to them, that will help you grow your tribe as well. And building an engine of reciprocity and social proof. So while I'm doing all this stuff that builds my membership, and I'm building all this engaging content, and at the same time, I'm helping some people one-to-one, but I'm helping the group in general. And the advice is good enough that even if a small percentage take action, the ones that do, they will get results. And it's a really slick engine of, if you've got a growing membership and you're putting great content, and then people are posting how well they've done because they've taken your advice, that's a very intoxicating combination. And that positions you perfectly, hopefully, if this next slide is the one I think it is, that positions you perfectly for the next slide. So just think where we've got to at this point. We've grown, we've launched our Facebook group, an email list. We've got loads of great content going up that's getting engagement. We've created a community feel, so people like, and they want to come back to the place they've created. And you've got all of these posts saying, I took his advice and I got these great results. That positions you that puts you in a perfect position to start productizing your expertise and selling products. So the first products I created was, I took the ebook was no longer a draft. I started selling Win with Words. Initially, amazingly, an ebook, I used to sell it for, I think, $80 or $60. I've dropped the price on that now, and I might drop that further. I built template packs. I built some training sessions, and I was doing well. I was selling them, and then I launched my first course, Always Be Winning, in August. So, and I did this just at the right time. I got to the stage where I had the group, it was growing, got the engagement, got the social proof, then I started releasing products. And that positioned me perfectly to do that. And then next, and this is where I'm at the moment, expand the theme of your group. So I used to be just about pitching with cold pitching and humor, but now I'm, not to sound pretentious, but the charm offensive approach could be used in any media. I'm all about pattern interruption, humor, doing things a little bit differently. I'm now expanding outside of just cold email and to things like this. When I learn how to do something, I can teach other people how to do it too. So one example of that is I'm teaching people how to become influencers. And again, I don't like that term, but we have to say something. So this is where I am, expanding the theme of my group, using Facebook ads to speed up growth and into new niches. leveraging your existing following to grow, building new products, which is again what I'm doing at the moment. I've got Always Be Winning, but I've got this Inspiring Influence course. I've got Have Your Way with Words, my copywriting course, Disarming Copywriting course. I've got a joint venture going with Will from Growth Labs, where we're doing a Facebook ads, funnels, and emails course. So this is where I am right now, and I can show you how to do the same. And it does not have to take all that long. I did it in 7 months, and I was just doing stuff on trial and error, whereas you guys... Oh, and that leads us beautifully into the warning, pitch incoming. So if you don't like pitches, it's only going to be brief, but if you want to make a cup of tea or you want to instantly disconnect or whatever it might be, you can do that now. Listen to some death metal, put a blindfold on, whatever it might be. So I've been able to reverse engineer everything that I've done in the last few months. And I went from all of my money being from private clients and waiting for those invoices to be paid 30, 60, 90 days to 95% or more of my revenue being from, probably closer to 99% now, being from digital products and having my following. So follow my blueprint and you can succeed faster. So introducing Inspiring Influence. This course is going to cover planning and positioning, developing your theme and your hook of your group, launching your tribe, creating engaging content with ease, growing your following, all of the different growth hacks and techniques I've used, productizing your expertise and going through the process that I went through to make sure I was coming up with products people wanted, launching your first products. Again, I did not study direct response copywriting. I'd never done a launch before. Now I'm competent in this, and I believe I can help other people to do this. There is a framework that works. Writing persuasive copy that sells, expanding your remit, and basically I can show you exactly what I've done in the last 7 months, and you can get in the same position. And it's not some distant dream, because it was only March when I started doing this. Every session will have a Q&A session at the end, and recordings of every training session will be made available. And there are bonuses that are going to be made available. So the sooner you get on board, the more of these bonuses you get. Group description template. So for the pin post and the description, I will give a framework for that. Sales funnel templates, the ones I use, I will share them in ClickFunnels. If you don't want to use ClickFunnels, I can share the copy in a Google Doc. Framework for a sales letter that's going to be effective. Introductory email autoresponder sequence. So when people join your email list, a series of 5 emails that you can alter to your needs. Product launch email sequences. So you'll probably see some of the version of this in the next few days as I roll this Inspiring Influence course out. You will get a copy of that you can use to your needs, variations. Group content templates, so different forms of content that you can post on your group to give you inspiration, to help you come up with ideas. Broadcast email templates, so just emailing your list some entertaining content that actually sells. I'll have templates for that. Group growth hacks playbook. So all of the little things that I do every week that build my awareness and build new members and new subscribers to my list. There will be an ebook that contains all of those. A Build Your List Facebook ad template pack. So just some different templates, a copy and creative ideas that you can use. If you do want to do Facebook advertising, which you don't have to, there will be a template pack for you. And Put Yourself Out There cold email template pack. So a pack for inviting yourself on podcasts, getting PR coverage, emailing influencers, just a pack of things for getting yourself out there and getting more people into your group, and a one-to-one Zoom Skype session as well. And group coaching, so early bird customers will get group coaching, access to a private Inspiring Influence Facebook group. Customers who join in the beta launch will be invited to group weekly mentoring calls, because I want you guys to get transformational results. I want the testimonials. I've loved doing this with Always Be Winning and seeing people get these incredible results where they've always got opportunities now because they can cold pitch in this way and they can get new business and new opportunities. And I think I'm more excited about this. As much as I've loved, and I still love showing people about cold pitching, the position I'm in now where I don't have to take on private clients if I don't want, and the freedom I've got and the excitement I've got behind my business now and where I can take it, I want to put other people in that position. And it's open now until the 11th of November. It's actually legitimately, I know everyone says limited spaces, but obviously this is a beta release. I want to be able to show people how to do this well. As far as price, I've got to do the whole start with a high price that's not real, and then I'll give you the legit price. No, it's not $1,000. No, it's not $500. It's $299, and you get group mentoring as well. And I go above and beyond, and I will probably help you one-to-one as well, because I really want those testimonials. I really hope you guys get involved. I'm going to paste this into the chat now, and you will get a recording of this. I hope that was useful. If you have any questions, please fire them away. First, and I do have one immediately, Saturday 11th or Sunday the 12th. Let me have a look. Have I been silly here? Let me have a look and see. It is the 12th. Sorry, it is the 12th. It is the 12th. Nicely spotted there, Doug. Yeah, it's Sunday the 12th. His hands on me for $299. Outrageous value. Thank you very much, Helen. What do you mean by that? His hands on me for $299, Matt? Lloyd's asked a question here. I need to start this immediately. Sorry, I missed the one used. Is that SendX or ES? Yes, SendX. Excellent. Okay, anyone have any questions? Go on, anything, absolutely anything. Otherwise, you're making it too easy on me. I know I go through quite a lot of information at once. I really enjoy going through this stuff. Is anyone? Processing. I do kind of steamroll people with loads of information and they go, any questions? Question, I'm still skeptical of cold email outreach if the conversion is high. Ali, sorry. If the conversion is 5%, why doesn't everyone just buy thousands of leads? But yeah, if you do it right, Ali, you will. The loads of people, like I ran an agency for 6 years just off cold email. I know another guy that runs a presentation slides business. It's all cold email. So yeah, you can just totally scale up just with cold email. It's a different course, always be winning, but you can. Is your first ebook still available? Yeah, Win with Words. If you go to my Book Me page, you can still get it. No concern of can spam. No, I've never had any issues as long as you follow the rules. Have an unsubscribe link and your address and that kind of stuff. It's fine. But that's more cold pitching stuff. Excellent, Helen. Helen is in. Excellent. I will make you more famous, I promise. Excellent. Okay, when does it start? This will start on Monday. So the cart is open until midnight Sunday, California time, I think I've picked for some reason. And then Monday, I will be announcing the first training sessions, and it will probably be from Monday. Obviously, there will be recordings of those available, so don't worry if you can't make the live sessions. There will be the recorded sessions available. What type of conversion rates do you get from your funnel FB ads? I wouldn't be able to answer that immediately. I would have to look. All I can say is it's profitable for me. The more, and as I say, the Facebook ads, it's not something I use a massive amount. Like that's been like, 99% of my growth has been organic. But as far as, I'd have to look at the stats for you. I can't say specific stats immediately. All I can say is that I'm making more money than I ever have before, and it's more profitable, and I'm having the most fun I ever have. So I know that's not a statistical answer, but it's broad. How long did it take you to draft your ebook? I can't remember. This was a while ago. Do you mean the Win with Words? I've probably a few days. Probably a few days. And then the stop selling, the one I did, this one, the stop selling time, I will paste the link again. The stop selling time ebook was probably a day or two as well. Yeah, I've just posted the link again for you. Even can you see that? Sorry, I think it was further on. There's been some questions, so. Hey, Even, can you see that link? I've just posted it a few times. I'm not sure why that's. I will send an email out with it as well, but I've posted it in a few times. But also, it's this one here. If you can see it on the screen here, there's this one here. I've posted it in chat. Excellent. And this will you'll get an email shortly with the recording of this webinar that will have a link to the replay and to this link as well. Awesome. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? If not, how do you pick what you share? Do you mean as far as content for this webinar, or in the group, or whereabouts? Sorry, Matt. Do you mean? Sorry, Matt. Do you mean? Oh, said you're picky on ads, etc. Oh, I'll picky with what I post. I don't know. I've got a theme of what. Thank you, Ali. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Matt. I just have a sense of what I like to be associated with, and if I think, even if it's not something like a campaign I would have run, if it helps people think in a way that I'd like people to, if I know it will help people be more creative in a good way, in a positive way, I'll share it. So that's why I like to share a lot of the guerrilla marketing stuff, is because it does have that lateral thinking built in. So even if you're doing copywriting or something, it will help out. Seeing the no list can also be useful. Sorry, Matt, what do you mean by that? I don't. That's the thing. Sorry, what do you mean by that, Matt? That's the thing. It's not like I compile a list like that. It's just I see something and I go, oh, that's something I would post. So I don't have stuff that I reject. It's just I see something, I will post it. There's not that much of a decision making process going on in my brain. That's all good. That's all good. I'm very sort of spontaneous with my approach. Like a lot of people probably do a lot more planning than me, whereas I'm quite spontaneous. That's just how my mind works. No, not at all, Matt. Some people have different approaches. I'm quite spontaneous. I see something, and I'm like, that would be good content. And the same when you start a group, by the way, that's another thing that happens is everything becomes inspiration for content. After a while, you can connect pretty much anything to be able to teach people cool stuff. How do you record those moments? Which moments? Oh, I guess email. I email myself a lot. So if I'm browsing on my computer, it's just immediately there. But if I'm out on my phone and I'm going a walk, if I have an idea, I will email myself. And it's probably not the most efficient way of doing things, but that's what I'll do is I'll have an idea and I will send myself an email, and then that will go into workflowy or something like that, and it might turn into something, it might not. Excellent. I did try and use Evernote and stuff like that, but I always found it quite bulky software, so I just prefer to email myself. Probably email myself more than anyone else does, which is a bit weird. Awesome. All right, any other questions, anyone? Otherwise, I will let this Zoom recording get made, and I will send the replay to everyone, and of course the link to the sales letter. Awesome. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful evening. Stay out of trouble.